Sometimes, when you piss off the wrong group, getting raided is inevitable. Whether you're offline or online, there's not always a lot you can do, especially facing larger groups. And often, they'll grief and seal your base, losing all your loot and the base you worked hard to build. Now, you could farm up the whole wipe to expand and honeycomb your base to not get raided, or go around the map and build a bunch of bases to spread your loot across, so it's harder for the raiders to get everything. Or you could build this. Now this might look like a normal 2x1, but it has a secret feature. It has a hidden loot room above the roof. Hidden and disguised as honeycomb, it's very unlikely that any raider is going to blow into it and find your loot. It's also accessible from the outside, so even if you do get griefed, all you need to do is get on top of your base and you'll be able to grab all of your loot from the outside. Now to get started, all you need to do is find a semi-flat area of land and place down a square foundation. You can go ahead and upgrade that to stone right away. And then you want to place 5 triangles on one of the sides like this. Then attach a square off of that last triangle and go ahead and demolish all those triangles. Now off of that square foundation, we want to place another square foundation, but make sure it's attached to the twig, just like this. And then break that other twig right there. Now you can just go ahead and upgrade that, and you should see just a tiny little gap right here like this. If you see the gap, that means you built it correctly and you can proceed with the rest of the base. I'm going to start with just a simple airlock triangle like this, and we can build the rest of our basic 2x1. You have to pay attention when placing the ceilings here. You kind of want to look away from the base and slowly look up until it attaches to the wall you're looking at, just like this. Once that's done, you can go ahead and upgrade them both to stone. Once that's done, you should be able to see a little slit in the ceiling and see a bit of the sky. Don't forget your ceiling in here. And you can add your doors. Now we're going to put our TC just like this, facing the wall here. Now we're going to start with our main loot room. You're going to place this box horizontally in this back right corner like this. Make sure it's all the way back in the corner. Then a perpendicular box like this. And finally one more box pushed all the way up against the TC. Now you can grab 2 small boxes and place a horizontal one right here, and then another one right here. Now we're going to go to the outside and build our shelf. Place a twig triangle here, a half wall, and a floor triangle, and then you should be able to place a triangle through the wall. Go ahead and demolish all this. And come back inside. Now you can upgrade this to wood or brick. And then place 2 boxes just like this. First box again right in the corner. And then I'd like to place a piece of twig here to make this next box easier to place. And you're definitely going to have to wiggle around quite a bit to get this box to fit. Now we're going to place a vertical small box, and you're just going to jump up and down until you get that to place. Now since we have our pixel gap right here, we can't place a wall frame and a garage door like you normally would inside a 2x1, but I do recommend keeping a twig frame here when you're not accessing the pixel gap, just to hide it a little bit more, just in case raiders do come and raid you. Now on this back wall here, we can go ahead and place our 3 furnaces. And then right next to it, there's enough room for a tier 2 or a tier 1. Place that all the way to the left if you can. And then you can fit 2 small boxes underneath the tier 2. And again, place those all the way to the left so they don't get in the way of your airlock. Now we can go ahead and place our bags. You can fit 2 of them right here. Optionally, you could fit 1 more in the airlock if you have a 3rd player. Now our core is basically complete, and we can move on to the honeycomb. To start, you can place 2 triangle foundations like this. And you can put your door right here. We're just going to honeycomb this like normal and do the whole thing around the entire base. Once it's all honeycombed, just make a little jump up and get onto the roof. You can cover up all our honeycomb. And now we're going to place half walls around this top area to make our hidden loot room. Now we go ahead and place 2 large boxes and a small box. Again, make sure it's over the crack in the middle, obviously, so you can still access them. And then it's very important that you lock all these, just in case raiders do find the boxes, they have to at least raid it to get into it. Again, like earlier, we want to place these floors kind of facing in from the walls. That makes it so there still is a pixel gap. And you should definitely check before, in case you need to demolish. As you can see, there is a little gap, and you should be able to aim in and access the boxes. You can break your jump up. And I'd recommend keeping all of your best loot up in here, especially when you're far away from base, maybe at rig, cargo, or doing tunnels. Anything where you're not close enough to really hear a raid, it's important to keep your loot stashed away up here. And it really isn't too difficult to access if it's something you need to access more often. Again, keep that twig there if you're not actively using it. And we're also going to go ahead and upgrade the entire core to sheet metal just to make the raid cost a little bit harder. Especially those ceilings, if raiders do find out there is loot up there, they're going to have to soft side a sheet metal wall, which takes quite a bit longer than a stone wall. And right here for these foundations, you're going to have to pick up a bag and the small box to upgrade it. Once you replace everything, the whole base is complete. Obviously, it's just a 2x1, so you can customize it however you want. Just make sure that twig frame stays twig and you don't put a garage door there. Of course, don't forget to lock your TC. And with that, the base is done. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.